How to create glasses in Adobe Illustrator in 5 easy steps. Hello, you're watching TNT Tutorials. If you're a beginner in Adobe Illustrator, don't have skills in drawing, and even if this is the first tutorial you see, you'll be able to create these glasses after you watch this video. Today you will learn how to use some blending modes. We will use color blending mode, soft light, and screen. We'll also use Gaussian blur to create a shadow, ellipse tool, line segment tool, and pen tool. So let's start with creating a new document. Press Ctrl N or go to File, New. Click on Print here. Select A4, horizontal orientation. In Advanced Options, select RGB and click on Create. I've placed glasses here so you could have a reference, and so you could see that this is the same glasses, and they appear differently on the background because of blending modes. So very soon you will see how to do this. Let's begin with creating a new layer. I will create a new one, and you have your layer number 1. Double click here to rename it to glasses. Let's pick a color similar to this, because we will create a rim. This will be our first step. Double click here on Fill Color icon. Pick a color similar to this. And go here to pick Ellipse tool. You can press L to quickly pick it. Hold Shift and draw ellipse here. Now click here on Swap Fill and Stroke. After this, go to Properties panel and change stroke width to something like this. I've decided to make this ellipse smaller. I press V for Selection tool, hold Shift plus Alt, and make this ellipse smaller, like this. So now it's time for step number 2. Let's create a spectacle lens and play with blending modes. To do this, press Ctrl C, Ctrl F. We've created a copy of this rim. Click here on Swap Fill and Stroke, double click on Fill Color icon, and pick a color similar to this. Now right click on this layer, go to Arrange, Send to Back. In Properties panel, find Opacity and click here. Now in blending mode, select Soft Light. Nothing happens right now, but if you will create background here, you don't need to do this, I will just show you. As you can see, we don't even see this layer. But we've created it to create some kind of lens effect and background for our upcoming color blending mode layer. So I will press Ctrl Z to undo. I came to step when we selected soft light. Now select this soft light layer. Press Ctrl C, Ctrl F. Go to opacity again and select color. We won't change opacity for now, but we will need to do this later, after we place these glasses on the background. Let's create glares now. To create glares, deselect these layers, click somewhere on the workspace, go for Line Segment tool. Don't worry about colors for now. Draw a line here, like this. Now click here on Stroke, double click, and pick some bright color, similar to this. Then go to Properties and change width to something like this. I will zoom in so you could see better. you can see that we need to round corners here. Click on Stroke and click here, Round Cap. Now click on Stroke again to close this window. Press V for Selection tool. Hold Alt. Start to move your object down and hold Shift also. So you will have Alt plus Shift combination. And place this line somewhere here. Now select them both with Shift and replace them if you need to. To deselect them both, click somewhere on the workspace. I will select one of them and will move it with holding Shift, because without Shift I can go out of axis, but I need to move this line straight. I will place it like this. If you need to rotate them, like in reference, select them both and simply rotate like this. I will zoom out a little bit. I use Hand tool to navigate. To do this, hold space, then release it and you will switch to latest tool. Now press V for Selection tool, select these lines, go to Object, Expand. We expand these objects to transform them from line to object. Now, as you can see, we don't have stroke variations here. If we'll press on Stroke, we'll create stroke for our object. So this is not line anymore. I will press Ctrl Z to undo. So we've expanded these objects. Now go to Opacity. Click here on Blending Modes and select Screen. We'll change opacity a little bit later, and it all will look exactly like this. Now let's start with step number 3. Let's create ear hook. To do this, go to Fill Color icon, double click here, pick color similar to this. Now go for Pen tool. You can press P to quickly pick it. And then click 3 times, like this. Just create a shape like this. After you created one, press V for Selection tool and click here, Swap Fill and Stroke. Then go to Properties panel and change width to something like this. Now we need to round cap again. Click here on Stroke, Round Cap. But we also have some sharp corner here. I will press Z and zoom in so you could see better. To smooth this sharp corner, click here on Stroke and click here, Round Join. Alright, so I will zoom out. Select our ear hook, right click on it, arrange, send to back. So in step number 4, let's create background so we could see result of our blendings. To do this, click here to Swap Fill and Stroke. Pick a color similar to this. Now go for Rectangle tool or press M on your keyboard and draw a rectangle here. Now press V for Selection tool, right click on this rectangle, arrange, send to back. As you can see, we have absolutely another picture that we had right now. If we'll move this rectangle like this, you would see it better. So what we need to do right now is to change opacity of each layer. Open your layer panel, open Glasses panel, select this ellipse. This was our first ellipse with soft color blending mode. we'll leave it as it is. So select your second ellipse. This is ellipse with screen blending mode. So select it, go to Properties panel, and in opacity, change opacity to something like this. 50% will be enough. Now select these two layers, go to opacity and change it to 40% maybe. Now in this step number 4, we will reflect these layers and create a bridge between rims. But first of all, select this background layer, go to Layers, and lock this layer. Now select all these layers, press Ctrl C, Ctrl F. Go to Properties panel, and click here, Flip along horizontal axis. You can move this copy a little bit, holding Shift. Now deselect these layers, click somewhere on the workspace, select this ear hook, go to Layers panel, and bring it down. Just drag it to another one ear hook. If you need to change proportions of your ear hooks, select them both and change it like this. As you can see, we have reflected our glares. We don't need that, so let's select these glares, go to Properties panel, and click here again, Flip along horizontal axis. So now it's time to create bridge, hold Alt, and drag this rim right there. Illustrator will help you to place it right in the middle of these two ellipses. Move it down if you need to. Now select these three layers. I've selected these two rims and this future bridge. Go to Object and click on Expand. Now go for Shape Builder tool. Don't deselect these layers. Shape Builder tool is over here. You can press Shift plus M to quickly pick it. Hold Alt, click here, here, and here. Now press V for Selection tool and deselect these objects. Now it's time for step number 5. We'll create a shadow, but we'll create not just a shadow, we'll create realistic shadow using Gradient tool and Gaussian blur effect. To do this, select following layers. Let's select rim, bridge, and ear hooks. Now press Ctrl C, Ctrl Shift V. We press Ctrl Shift V to place copied layers to the front. As you can see, they're in the front of other layers. So go to Properties panel now and click here. In Pathfinder menu, Unite. As you can see, we have some error here. That's because we didn't expanded our ear hooks layers. So press Ctrl Z, select these copied ear hooks, go to Object, Expand. Now select all these expanded layers. They are a copy of our original layers. And in Pathfinder, click on Unite. Now click here in Fill Color icon, pick some dark color, go to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur. Click on Preview here. You can play with value, but remember that you'll be able to change value anytime. Click OK. And then if you'll need to change values of your Gaussian Blur effect, in Properties panel, click on Gaussian Blur, and you'll be able to change it again. I'll press Cancel because I don't need to change it. Now go to Layers panel, and bring this shadow down. Now I will use my keyboard buttons up or down. I press down button a couple of times, And now let's double click on Gradient tool. Why will we use Gradient tool now? Because we need our shadow to be more realistic. Our shadow will be more intense in this part, in this central part. But in top part and bottom part, it will be less intense. Click here. Drag this line like this. Hold Shift to do it straight. Adjust this line to your object. So this line would match sizes of your object, like this. And now move this dark gradient slider to center. Now click here, and you will create a copy of bright marker. Move it here. And now move this marker like this. Remember that we need more intense shadow in center. I will stop on something like this. I close this window. I press V for selection tool. And let's change opacity of this shadow. Click on properties here. I think 50% will be enough. You can even select this shadow, click on opacity, and select multiply blending mode. It will make this shadow even more realistic. As you can see, we've created exactly the same glasses as we have in reference. Now, after you watched how I created these glasses, you can create them by yourself. Just use this image as reference. If you have any difficulties, ask me in comments below. You can also write in comments if something wasn't clear enough for you in this video, and to ask me to make video about creating certain object or character. Thank you for watching, see you in the next videos.